the chapter number 3rd, and the concept is properties of matrix addition. So under this heading we will go through with some properties. So first I am taking the property commutative, or you can say it is commutative law. So for example, if we are taking two matrices A equals to Aij and the second one is B equals to Bij, then we can say A plus B equals to B plus A. We have to keep these things in our mind. The order of both the matrices are same. If this is your 2 into 2, then definitely this matrix B is also 2 into 2, because you know very well addition is possible when the order are same, otherwise it is not possible. It means it can be written as Aij plus Bij, and this is equivalent to Bij plus Aij. So this is your commutative law, in which we can say capital A plus B is equivalent to capital B plus A. Now we will continue with the second law, that is your associative law. So if we are taking three matrices A, B, C and their order are same, then we can say under this law A plus B plus C in bracket, it can be written as A plus B plus C. Or if you want to write in this manner, then we will write Aij plus Bij plus Cij. This is equivalent to Aij plus Bij, and this is equals to Cij. So this is the concept of associative law. You have to keep this thing again in your mind, that their order should be same. Now we will continue with the third property, and the name of the third property is existence of additive identity. The third property is existence of additive identity. So for example, if I am taking one matrix A equals to Aij and one another matrix, that is your zero matrix. This is your zero matrix. Then as per this property we can say A plus 0 can be written as 0 plus A, and the value becomes A. Then we can say 0 is the additive identity for matrix addition. Now we will continue with the fourth property, existence of additive inverse. Under this property, for example, if I am taking one matrix A as Aij, on the same time if I am taking another matrix minus A, that is equivalent to minus Aij, then how can we will write it? It can be written as A plus minus A, or you can say minus A plus A. This is equals to zero matrix, or we can say it can also be written as Aij plus minus Aij. This is equivalent to minus Aij plus Aij. This is equals to 0. In this case we can say minus A is the additive inverse of matrix A. So these four properties are related with matrix addition. Now I am continuing with the next concept, Again we will do some more properties that is related with properties of scalar multiplication of matrix. Properties of scalar multiplication of matrices. So under this heading, if I am taking two matrices A and B, these are two matrices, and if I am taking K and L as scalar, then how can we will denote the property? So there are two properties, A plus B multiplied by K is scalar, and A or B both are of same order, then it can be written as Ka plus Kb. And second property is, if we are taking the sum of both the scalar multiplied by a matrix A, then it can be written as Ka plus La. Here you have to keep this in your mind that K and L both are scalar and A and B are two matrices and their order should be same, because addition is possible only when order are same, otherwise it is not possible. So this is the concept of properties of scalar multiplication of matrices. Now we will come to one very important concept, that is the multiplication of matrices. Next concept is multiplication of matrices. So under this heading, for example, if I am taking two matrices A and B, and the order of A is 2 into 2 and the order of B is also 2 into 2, then we can say AB is possible or not. AB is the multiplication of A and B. So if you notice here, these two and that 2 both are equal, or we can say number of column of matrix A is equivalent to number of rows of matrix B. That's why we can say AB is possible. If we are taking some another case, for example, if I am taking A as 2 into 3 and B as 2 into 2, in this case, if you notice here, number of columns of matrix A is not equivalent to number of rows of matrix B. So in this case, AB is not possible. AB is not possible here, but here AB is possible, or you can say multiplication of AB is possible because number of columns is equivalent to number of rows, but here it is not possible because number of columns of matrix A is not equivalent to number of rows of matrix B. It means, can we say commutative property or commutative law is applicable for matrix multiplication? Definitely we can say it is not possible. So commutative law is not possible under this heading. So the first property is, if we are talking about the property, commutative property, that is AB equals to BA is not possible if their order are not same. Okay. After this commutative law, how can we multiply two matrices? For example, A is 1, 2, 3, 4 and B equals to 3, 5, 6, 7, and here we are taking 8 and 3. So if you notice here, the order of matrix A is 2 into 2 and the order of matrix B is 2 into 3. If you notice, number of columns of matrix A is equivalent to number of rows of matrix B, then we can say AB is possible here. So if we calculate AB, then how can we will calculate it? How can we will identify the value? First we will write the value of matrix A, then we will write the value of matrix B. How can we multiply? So R1 multiply by C1. So it is better first we will write here R1 multiply by C1 and write in C1 column, then R2 multiply by C1 and write in C1 column, then some gap is there. Again you will come here, R1 multiply by C2, you will write here R1 multiply by C2, write in C2 column, again R2 multiply by C2, write in C2 column, again you will take some gap and then come here again, R1 multiply by C3 and write in C3 column, and R2 multiply by C3 and write in C3 column. So this is the way of multiplication. This is our R1, this is R2, this is C1, this is C2 and this is C3. So R1 multiply by C1 first, same procedure R2 multiply by C1 and write in C1 column, same procedure for the next one. So how can we multiply? So 1 multiplied by 3, we will write here 3. Then we will write positive sign. 2 multiplied by 6, it becomes 12. Then we will multiply R2 with C1. 3 multiplied by 3, it becomes 9. Then 4 multiplied by 6, it becomes 24. Same procedure for next one. 1 multiplied by 5, it becomes 5. Plus 2 multiplied by 7, it becomes 14. Then 3 multiplied by 5, it becomes 15. And then 4 multiplied by 7, it becomes 28. Same procedure for the next one. 1 multiplied by 8, it becomes 8. 2 multiplied by 3, it becomes 6. Then R2 multiplied by C3 as per this formula. So 3 multiplied by 8, it becomes 24. Plus 4 multiplied by 3, it becomes 12. After this, you will solve it. What we will get? 15. 9 plus 24 is 33. 5 plus 14 is 19. 15 plus 28 is 43. 8 plus 6 is 14. And 36. And if you notice here, again the order is 2 into 3. So multiplication is possible when number of columns of first matrix is equivalent to number of rows of second matrix. Otherwise multiplication is not possible. So whenever you multiply two matrices, first you will see the condition and then you will go with the formula. This is the concept related with 2 into 2 multiplied by 2 into 3. Now we will take one more example that is related with multiplication of matrices. So the next example is if A equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, as you know very well this is 2 into 2 and B is equivalent to 1, 3, 5, 7, 0, 9, 8, 1, 3, it is related with 3 into 3. So the question arises, we have to find AB and BA. So how can we solve it? So what we will write here, if you see, first we will go with AB. But if you see here, multiplication of AB is not possible. So what we will write here, not possible. Why it is not possible? Because if you see number of columns of matrix A is not equivalent to number of rows of matrix B. That reason we have to write here not possible because number of columns of matrix A is not equal to number of rows of matrix B. Same procedure when if you see BA, it is also not possible and same reason we have to give, because if you multiply 3 into 3 with 2 into 2, again number of columns of B matrix is not equivalent to number of rows of A matrix. That's why we will give the same answer here. It is not possible because number of columns of matrix B is not equal to number of rows of matrix A. Only you have to interchange capital A and B and same answer you will give. So before multiplication, first you see here the condition is applicable or not. Condition means the number of rows of first matrix is equivalent to number of rows of second matrix. If it is equal, then multiplication is possible, otherwise multiplication is not possible. Yes, if order is same, for example 2 into 2 multiply by 2 into 2 or 3 into 3 multiply by 3 into 3, so definitely we can say if square matrix is there, if both the matrices are square matrix, then definitely we can say multiplication of matrix is possible, otherwise it is not possible. Now we will come to on the next point, that is properties of multiplication matrices. So as I told earlier, commutative law is not applicable here. Commutative law, it means A and B cannot be written as B into A. In second property, that is your associative property or associative law. So for example, if you are taking three matrices A, B and C, then it can be written as A multiplied by BC, or you can say AB multiplied by C. Then we can say A multiplied by BC, you will multiply BC, what you will get, you will multiply by A. Same procedure you will apply on the right hand side. First you will calculate AB, and what you will get, multiply by the matrix C. Third property, that is your distributive law. So again, for example, if you are taking three matrices A, B, C, it can be written as A, D plus in bracket, this is equivalent to AB plus AC, or you can say if we are taking A plus B together, multiply by the matrix C, it can be written as AC plus BC. So this is your distributive law, distributive property. Last property, that is number 4, that is existence of multiplicative identity. So for every square matrix, there exists an identity in such a way, if we can say IA equals to AI, this is equals to A. So for every square matrix, capital A, there exists an identity, capital I, in such a way, if we can say IA equals to AI, and this is equivalent to A. So these are 4 properties related with matrix multiplication. As I told earlier, commutative property is not applicable, associative law, then distributive law, and last one is existence of multiplicative identity. So after these properties, now we will continue with the next concept, that is transpose of a matrix. Transpose of a matrix. So for example, a matrix is given to us, this is equivalent to Aij. So if we change the row in column or vice versa of it, that type of matrix is known as transpose of a matrix, and it is denoted by A dash, or you can say A raised to the power T, and it can be written as Aj. For example, if we are taking one matrix, capital A equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, then how can we write it transpose? It can be written as 1, 2, 3, 4. If you notice here, this R1 will convert in C1 and this R2 will convert in C2. So this is the concept of transpose of a matrix. It is also applicable for 3 into 3. It is also applicable for any types of order, 2 into 3, 3 into 3, 3 into 2. So this is the concept known as transpose of a matrix. Now I will take the next concept, that is properties that is related with transpose of a matrix. So the next concept is properties of transpose of a matrix. So there are various properties. For example, if you notice here, transpose of, we will continue with properties of transpose of a matrix. The first property is transpose of A dash can be written as A. For example, we will take one example here. 1 0 5 9. This is our matrix A, and if we continue with the transpose, it can be written as 1 0 5 9. If again we will take the transpose of it, what will come? Let's see. It becomes 1 5 0 9. It means again we will get A. So this is your first property. A transpose of any transpose of matrix becomes again that matrix. After this first property, we will continue with the second property, and the second property is or you can say it can be written as K A dash. Dash means transpose. Here K is scalar. Okay. As per the third property, whole dash of two matrices A and B can be written as A dash plus B dash. And the fourth property is multiplication of two matrices. If we are taking the transpose, it can be written as B dash A dash. So these four properties are related with transpose of a matrix. If you see this example, this is matrix A, and we will take the transpose. Again, we will get A. It is very, very important property, and other properties are also important. So after properties of transpose of a matrix, we will continue with the next concept, that is symmetric matrix. So a square matrix, the first condition is a square matrix. We can say a square matrix is known as symmetric matrix if we are saying A dash equals to A, and if we are taking one example, A equals to under 3 2 3 2 3 1.5 minus 1 and 0. What is the transpose of it? The transpose of this matrix is, we will convert R1 as C1, R2 as C2, R3 as C3. So if you notice here, both the matrices are same. R1 will convert in C1, R2 will convert in C2, and R3 will convert in C3. If you see here, both the matrices are same. So a square matrix is known as a symmetric matrix if we are getting A dash equals to A, or if we are saying Aij is equivalent to Aj. Okay. Now we will come to the next matrix, that is a skew symmetric matrix. The next matrix is skew symmetric matrix. So again we will take one square matrix. The first condition is this: if we want a square matrix. So a square matrix is known as a skew symmetric matrix if A dash equals to minus A and Aij is equivalent to minus Aij. If this condition is possible, we can say such type of matrix is known as a skew symmetric matrix. If we are taking one example, so if we are taking example, let's see here. We will take 0, 0, 0 here, and this is your minus, minus. If you take B dash, what happen? It can be written as 0 minus G minus F. R1 will convert in C1, R2 will convert in C2, R3 will convert in C3. So if you are notice here, R1 will convert in C1, R2 will convert in C2, R3 will convert in C3. So if we take common minus, what happens? It can be done as, and after this and we can say, if we are taking from minus, we will again check it. 0 minus G minus F, G 0 1, F 1 0, R1 will convert in C1, it is right. Then R2 will convert in C2, R3 will convert in C3. And if we take one minus, it can be written as this. Okay, we will change it. If we take minus here also, let's see what happens. 0 GF minus G minus 1 minus F minus 1. Now if we are taking common minus, it can be written as, it is right, this is plus 1 and this is again plus 1. We have to change it. We have to take one more example. Wait for few minutes. We will change the example. Now I am taking one more example. If I am taking here matrix A as 0 minus E minus F, E 0 G, F G and 0. Again this is minus. Now we will take a transpose of it. A dash equals to 0 E F minus E 0 G minus F minus G 0. So if I am taking common minus, so what happened? It can be written as yes. So we can say this is related to minus A. So if you notice here, as I said, for skew symmetric matrix, first we want a square matrix, and if A dash equals to minus A and AGI is equivalent to minus AIJ, then we can say such type of matrix is known as skew symmetric matrix. So I am taking one example here. A equals to such type of matrix. This is related with 3 to 3. That's why it is square matrix. Now we will continue with the transpose. When you will go through the transpose and take the minus sign, again you will get minus A. So condition is there. A dash equals to minus A. And one more point is there. If you see all the diagonal elements, these are equivalent to 0. So in this condition, if we put I equals to J. In this condition, if you put I equals to J, then what happens? It can be written as AII equals to minus AII, and by transfer method, it can be written as 2AII equals to 0 or AII equals to 0. AII equals to 0, it means if you see all the diagonal elements A11, A22, A33, these are equivalent to 0. It means in skew symmetric matrix, all the diagonal elements are equivalent to 0. In skew symmetric matrix, we want square matrix, we want A dash equals to minus A and AJI equals to minus AIJ. And when you put I equals to J, then we can say all the diagonal elements of a square symmetric matrix are equivalent to 0. Now we will go through with some more condition that is related with symmetric and skew symmetric matrix. So we can say any square matrix, if we are taking a matrix A, any square matrix A can be expressed as the sum of symmetric and skew symmetric, and it can be written as half of A plus A dash plus half of A minus A dash, and this is equivalent to P plus Q, where P is symmetric matrix and Q is skew symmetric matrix. The question arises, why P is symmetric and Q is skew symmetric? P is symmetric due to this A plus A dash, and Q is skew symmetric due to A minus A dash. So whenever any square matrix is there, it can be written as the sum of P and Q, where P is symmetric and Q is skew symmetric matrix. After this concept, we will continue with the last concept, that is the elementary transformation. And this elementary transformation is also related with operations also. So for example, under this heading, if you want to change R1, then you will write R1 plus R2. It means what? You will add two rows. You will add R1 and R2, and that sum you will write at place of R1. For example, if you are taking C1 and you want to write C1 minus C3, yes, it is possible. It means at the place of C1 you will write the subtraction of C1 and C3. Once you will start the elementary transformation with row, it means the whole problem you will continue with the row. Once you start with the column, it means whole problem you will solve with the help of column. You will not mix up it. Mix up means once you start with row, you will not enter column. You will not solve by column method. This is known as row method. This is known as column method. So when you start with the row method, when you start with the row elementary transformation, then the whole problem you will solve by the row transformation. And once you start with the column method, it means whole problem you will solve with the column method. I am taking one example here so that it will more clear to all of you. See how can we will apply the elementary transformation. And the question arises, why we continue with elementary transformation? We are using elementary transformation for finding the value of A inverse, and this is known as inverse of a matrix. It is known as inverse of a matrix. For finding the value of A inverse, we will continue with the concept that is known as elementary transformation, and these type of operations generally we will apply during the solving of the problem. Once you will start with the row method, then you will solve only by row method, or vice versa. Vice versa means if you start with the column, then you will solve whole question with the help of column. So I am taking one example here. Let matrix A equals to 1, minus 1, 2 and 3. How can we will solve such type of problem? How can we will solve this matrix A? How can we will identify A inverse with the help of this concept? So how can we will apply this concept on this problem? So first we will start with A equals to IA. So you know very well A can be written as IA. I is the identity matrix. So put the value of A in left hand side. Now if you notice here, the order of A is 2 into 2. So definitely the order of I is also 2 into 2. And this remains as it is. This A remains as it is. We will not put the value of A in right hand side, because if we put the value of A in right hand side also, then how can we calculate the value of A inverse? So we will put the value of A only in left hand side, then put the value of I is identity matrix. The order of A is 2 into 2, so that we will take the order of I also 2 into 2, then we will write A here. Now we will try, we want such type of matrix here. We want identity matrix in left hand side. So how can we will transfer it? We will transfer it with the help of elementary transformation, with the help of elementary operation. So if you notice here, it is already 1. So we will try for it, we want 0 here. So what we will do, we will go with the row transformation. So I want to change R2, so I will take R2 minus 2R1. I want 0 here. How can I will get 0? If I will go with this operation, I want to change R2 both the side. We will change both the side because it is an equation. If you change in LHS, it means you have to change in RHS also. So this time there is no change in R1, so we will write the element of R1 as it is. After that, same procedure we will do in right hand side also. Okay. So R2 minus 2 R1 we will apply here. So 2 minus 2 becomes 0, and here 3 plus 2, it becomes 5. How can we write 5 here? Again you see here, R2 means 3, minus and minus plus, 3 plus 2 it becomes 5. Same procedure we will do in right hand side also. 0 minus 2, it becomes minus 2, and 1 minus 0, it becomes 1. After getting 1 and 0, we will go here. We want 0 at A12. This is our A12. So after this, which type of operation we will apply here? So we will get here 0. So I will write here, I want to change R1. So R1 plus R2 upon 5. If I am writing this and apply here, so definitely I will get 0. We will check it again. Minus 1 plus 5.5 is plus 1. So definitely we will get 0. So this time there is no change in R2. So write down the element of R2 as it is. Same procedure in right hand side. Write down the element of R2 as it is. Now you will change it. 1 plus 0.5, we will get 1 again. Minus 1 plus 5.5, we will get 0. That is our target. Again you will apply the right hand side. 1 plus minus 2.5. 1 plus minus 2.5 means 5 minus 2, it becomes 3 upon 5. And if you want to solve in your rough copy, no problem, or in your margin area, 1 minus 2 upon 5. So definitely we will get 3 upon 5. And then 0 plus 1 upon 5. 0 plus 1 upon 5 is 1 upon 5. Now we want 0 here, sorry 1 here. So what we will do? We will change R2. This time we will divide R2 by 5. If you apply this type of operation, so what you will get? Write down the element of R1 both the sides as it is. Now you will come to an R2. 0 divided by 5 becomes 0. 5 divided by 5 becomes 1. Minus 2 divided by 5, it becomes minus 2.5. 1 divided by 5, it becomes 1.5. And you will write here A. So if you notice here, we are getting same identity element from right hand to left hand. After this, we will say what is the value of A inverse. After this, we can say the value of A inverse. Now we transfer A from right hand to left hand, and this is the value of identity matrix. This is identity matrix. This is I. So we can say I equals to 3 upon 5 minus 2 upon 5, 1 upon 5, and then 1 upon 5 into A. It means the value of inverse of matrix A is equivalent to 3 upon 5 minus 2 upon 5, 1 upon 5, 1 upon 5. So this is the concept of elementary transformation. If you notice here, once I started with the row, again I am continuing with the row operations. Same procedure for column. Once you start with column, it means you have to go by column method. So this is the concept related with elementary transformation. If you notice here, when I am applying operation, I am continuing with this. First I am trying for this, then I will go there, then I will come here. This method is known as W method for row transformation, and when you will apply column method, you will go with Z method. Okay, so again I am repeating, in elementary transformation we will apply two types of operation. One is row transformation and second one is column transformation. Once you start with the row transformation, it means the whole problem you will solve only and only by row method, as you see in this example. Okay, but when you start with the column ones, the whole portion you will do by only column. In row method, you will go with the W method. As you see here, first we will apply for this, then we want 0 here, then we want 0 here, then 1 here. Okay? Or in column method, you will apply Z method. I want to give one hint related with this. If we want to apply column method, for example, this is the problem 1, 3, 4, 5, and if you want to go with column, so what you will do, first you will write here, first you will try for 1, then 0, and then 1. It means you will go by Z method. This is related with 2 into 2. Same procedure for 3 into 3. Or in row method, if you want to go with row, then you will write, then you will try for this and you will go with W method. So this is known as, this is related with W method and this is related with Z method. So with the help of 2 into 2, you will easily solve the question which is related with 3 into 3. So this is the concept of elementary transformation. Thank you.